Ahoy folks, and welcome back to Broadside Gaming with me, Zug. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Ogryn again, and we're going to be going over the Slab Shield build. This is a slight variation on the ones that have been up on the channel, and this is more for, I've had a lot of questions about it, like why I've picked certain things, and I haven't mentioned this and this and this, so I thought it would be easier just to make another video, and I'll explain hopefully everything that's been asked, and also add in a few other bits that I missed in the last video. So let's just jump in and take a look. So as you can see, we are using the Battle Maul and Slab Shield, and for the modifiers, the first thing you're going to notice is defense is the dump stat, and the reason being is because this isn't World of Warcraft. We really don't need the defense. You know, at no point are we playing a sword and board tank where we're going to be eating hits and trading blows and all this sort of thing. You're pretty much playing melee in Darktide. So yes, you will be blocking things, but it's not a giant part of the gameplay loop. You're blocking about as much as you would be blocking on a zealot. So we really don't need the defense, but we do need the other modifiers to help us hit those breakpoints, which is why damage, crowd control, cleave damage, and penetration, lol, are at 80 to help us reach those goals. As for the perks, we're going for Carapace. This is going to help us deal with crushers, as crushers are slightly annoying, but with the added Carapace damage, we are basically going to trivialize them and bully the hell out of them. And we're also going for flak armored enemies, because flak is the most prevalent armor type in the game. And that's the reasoning. As for the blessings, one of them can be changed to your desired blessing if you don't like it. The other one, which is Skull Crusher, is pretty mandatory for the build. So Skull Crusher. Target receives 4 stacks of plus 10% damage if already staggered, lasts 5 seconds. I don't understand why they don't just do a flat plus 40% damage if it's adding all 4 stacks at once. It seems just a bit wordy to me for doing the same thing, but whatever. We have so much stagger and impact in this build that we're going to be basically applying that to everything. So, and for the next one is Brutal Momentum, which gives us plus 15% weak spot damage, and weak spot kills also ignore enemy hit mass. Now, what that means, and I'll do the TLDR version of it, is ignoring hit mass is for making your melee hits, your melee weapon hit a huge bunch of grouped up things. So basically, every weapon has a limit on how far it can cleave through, and ignoring enemy hit mass basically means your weapon just hits well, not everything, but a lot more things. So this is just going to allow us to cleave through massively, which is also why we've got cleave damage and crowd control maxed out. But if you don't like Brutal Momentum, and I know some of you don't, there are other options. So let's take a look at those now. The other options are, you can go for something a little bit more defensive. Confident Strike, 8% toughness on chained hit, so just keep swinging, you'll farm back toughness. What else have we got? I mean, to be honest, I'd say Confident Strike's the only other good one. Skull Crusher, Brutal Momentum, Confident Strike. All the others are a bit eh. And the Thunderstrike doesn't give us a whole lot. I mean, it's usable and it does give us more impact, but we have so much at this point. We're going to hit diminishing returns territory. But as I said, if you don't like Brutal Momentum, just try the other blessings, see what you think. You know, I'm not your mum. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to put little notes in your lunchbox. If you don't like it, pick something else and see what happens. I always encourage self-exploration with talents and things on this, because that's how you learn. Still, that's how I build it. So if you want to just copy it, use that. Next up, we're going for the Rumbler. And we are dumping out mobility, because as you'll know, I don't give a crap about mobility. It's a pointless stat. But we are keeping blast damage, ammo, blast radius, and penetration, lol. So this is what we're going to be using for gunning down monstrosities. So that is why we have Unyielding, which is going to give us more monstrosity damage, and flak armored enemies, of course, because flak armor is the most prevalent armor type in the game. I'm going to turn this into a jingle, I think. And for the blessings, we're using Adhesive Charge. Your grenades stick to Ogryns and monstrosities, and giving plus 15% damage to Ogryns and monstrosities. And we're also taking Blaze Away. Now, people ask me, Zug, you beautiful genius, why are you taking Blaze away? Well, we're taking Blaze away because it does actually increase our damage quite a lot. But, as you can see, it's a bit finicky to get it to work. So you have to aim down sights and basically fire almost immediately after you have already fired. The time between the stacks, look, it drops off even if you wait just a little bit there. It is irritating, but Blaze Away does give us a huge amount of damage against heavy targets, especially with being able to stick grenades to their weak spots. So Beast to Know comes along, get yourself in a nice position, aim it on that pustule, and then just keep hitting. And the nice thing is, with Adhesive Charge, you still get the impact damage of the grenade hitting the target, as well as the explosive damage. Shut up, Stephanie. So, that is why I prefer to use Blaze Away, because you can stack it up ridiculously high. Once you get to 5 stacks, there is no worry about losing the 5 stacks during a reload, because this gun reloads after every shot. So you get yourself in a good position, and you just keep firing away, and you get that lovely, lovely damage bonus. Which works out to, I don't know, I'm terrible at maths, 40% damage. So Blaze Away stacks up to 40%, you just keep firing, and you've whittled down yourself a monstrosity, or a big group of Ogryns. It doesn't have to be against the same target, you just have to keep firing. Which is also why I haven't dumped out ammo, because the ammo in this weapon is very finite as it is, and to basically get it to work how we want it to, we do need that little bit extra ammo in there to keep us firing. Now, hopefully that does a better explanation than I did last time of why I take Blaze Away on the Brumbler. Right, now for the Curios. So, as you can see, we have one plus 21% max health Curio. And on this, we're taking max health, extra toughness, and damage resistance gunners. And that is because gunners are evil, and they hurt us in our soft places. And the other stats are just there to make us tougher. And then on the other two Curios, which are 17% toughness, we are taking toughness, damage resistance snipers, and damage resistance gunners. Now, snipers are absolutely horrible. And as an Ogryn, depending on how actually big you've made your Ogryn, as this does play a big part in this, which they don't tell you when you're making your character, but at least now we can change it. The bigger you are, you actually screw up your dodge distance and your ability to get through some doors and windows. But obviously, the bigger you are, you're a bigger target for the sniper. And, you know, it's already a little bit tricky sometimes dodging from a goddamn trapper, because they seem to have eagle-eye vision when it comes to Ogryn. But snipers can clip you. Most of the time, you'll be fine. And also, you can eat sniper shots on the shield. So that it's not a terrible thing. It's mostly just there for when either you can't block the sniper shot, or you're locked in the middle of a group and you can't actually dodge away from it, because you can't dodge through most enemies. As you can see, they block you. In case they just don't want to block me right now to prove me wrong. But still, they block you. That's why we're taking it, because it can be a game ender, basically just being hammered down by snipers. And at higher difficulties, it's not just one sniper. There's usually 3 or 4 of them. So that is why we're taking it. It's just precaution. I mean, if you really don't want it, you can switch it out for max health, but I wouldn't. So let's take a look at the talents. Pretty standard up top. We're taking Furious. For each enemy you hit during the same heavy melee attack, you gain 2.5% damage on your next melee attack. The best defense, replenish 20% toughness after hitting multiple enemies with a single heavy melee attack. This is also helped by brutal momentum. Toughness boost here into Smash 'em, replenish 20% toughness after hitting a single enemy with a heavy melee attack. Into Heavy Weight, plus 30% damage against Bulwarks, Crushers, Plague Ogrins, and Reapers, and also receiving plus 30% damage reduction against the same. Heavyweight is one of the best talents in the tree. If anyone ever tells you not to take it, don't listen to them. And then into Linchpin. Toughness replenishment while in coherency is increased by 50%. And then we're picking up the toughness node over here. And as you can see, we're not doing the usual route of taking bombs away, so we can get into soft them up and slam. Because I know a lot of you miss using the Big Friendly Rock. And I absolutely love the Big Friendly Rock. It's one of the best blitz abilities in the game. So we're taking the Big Friendly Rock, toss a big rock or hunk of junk at a single enemy, reduced effectiveness against carapace armored enemies and unyielding enemies. You pick up a new rock every 45 seconds and you can hold up to 4 rocks at a time. Now this is basically your snipe ability. It's great. Didn't mean to do that, but fair. I mean, when you get good at using it, you can just headshot most things. It has a ridiculous range on it. Basically, if you can see it, you can hit it. Obviously, I can't because I haven't used it for ages. And I'm recording live, so of course it's going to go wrong. Anyway, Big Friendly Rock. Then into Slam. Get plus 25% impact bonus on melee attacks. Now, this is quite important for the Slab Shield, because impact is just stagger applied to you, applied to the enemy. I think that's how it works. Basically, it's stagger power. I hate the fact that they've got, brittleness and rending, which are basically the same thing, as well as slam, impact and stagger. It's just irritating. But still, this gives you more stagger, which is good because our weapon does lots of stagger, and also we get, buffs for staggering. So yay, slam. Anyway, into a toughness boost, into Indomitable. Now, this is the point of contention for quite a lot of people. They say, Zug, why aren't you taking Loyal Protector? Because it's pretty bad, to be honest. And I know a lot of you are clutching your pearls and throwing your pennies over your faces because of this, but it is. Now, the reason we're not taking this is because we're taking Attention Seeker down here. Now, Attention Seeker is very, very good. And the reason Attention Seeker is good is because we can force ranged enemies into melee with us by blocking, or by running up and pushing them. But mostly just by blocking them. A gunner turns on you, block it, and he comes over to you. It forces ranged enemies into melee, which then just makes them a trivial matter to mop up for the entire team. Now, the reason we're not taking Indomitable, no, we are taking Indomitable. Well, the reason we're not taking Lord Protector, there we go, back on track, is because this has an 8-meter radius that's not going to hurt the ranged enemies. I mean, it's just, even with a plus 50% radius on it, that's only going to pump it to, what, 12? It's not very good. It really isn't. I mean, if you like it, you like it, and that's fair. I'm not saying your choice is wrong. I'm just saying I don't like it. So, but we are taking Attention Seeker, which is absolutely amazing. So, we're going down into Indomitable, which gives us a charge. Charge forward with a great force, knocking back enemies and staggering them, which is also getting us more damage. Gain plus 25% attack speed and 25% movement speed for 5 seconds. Charge is stopped on collision with a monstrosity. Base cooldown is 30 seconds. That's not entirely true, though. You can stop the charge wherever you want just by hitting the S key, which is your back button. So you can knock something over that you want to hit, and then stop right in front of it to bully it while it gets up. Now, there are 2 ways to play with Indomitable. Of course, there's Stomping Boots, which replenishes plus 10% toughness per enemy hit with Indomitable. We're always going to take that. So you can either take Pulverize or you can take Trample. Now, bleeds are actually going to be quite a big part of your damage. And also, bleeds are going to give us, defense, because we're taking Delight and Destruction. Plus 8% damage resistance per bleeding enemy in melee range stacks 6 times. But it isn't be all and end all, because that is capped at 6. But what you can do is, if you don't want to take Pulverize, which is a guaranteed application of defense because you're applying bleeds, which gives you more defense, you can take Trample. For each enemy hit by Bull Rush, you gain a stack of Trample. Trample increases base damage by 2% for 8 seconds, stacks 25 times. So that is giving you a 50% base damage increase for 8 seconds. So if you hit a big group of enemies, you are going to be doing a lot of damage very, very, very quickly. But we do lose the defensive properties from Pulverize, so it is completely up to you which you take. I generally take Trample. But if you want to be more defensive, or you're not used to the build, take Pulverize. Neither is a wrong option. It is all down to your playstyle. Which is what kind of irritates me with these people who say, oh, meta build, it's a taking... No. A lot of these builds can be customized. Yes, some keystones, for example, heavyweight, are pretty much taken 100% of the time. But everything else can just be fiddled with to suit your playstyle. We have a lot of options and a lot of different ways to get to the same result. So don't think you can't ever just fiddle with a build, even if somebody says this is the best build in the world, because not everyone plays the same. That's the problem with meta. You could be given the best meta build in the world, but you aren't able to execute it like the person who made it, because that is their playstyle. Anyway, moving on. Down into a rending boost here, into Batter, which inflicts 4 stacks of bleed on heavy melee hit. All of our hits are going to be heavy. Into heavy damage boost for more heavy melee damage. Into Bonebreaker's Auras for more heavy melee damage. So that's quite a lot of damage. Then into a melee damage boost here. Into Delight and Destruction, plus 8% damage resistance per bleeding enemy in melee range, stacks up to 6 times. And then into Dominate, into plus 10% rending for 10 seconds on elite kill. Now, you don't have to take Dominate. Some would argue it's not great. And if you don't like it, you can dump it out for something else. For example, you can go into Payback Time. Every time you get touched, that's plus 20% damage for you. Arguably, that might be better. I like to take Payback Time quite a lot. I generally only take Dominate if I'm going for a full heavy hitter build. So if you want to get rid of that point, stick it into Payback Time, or some other point that you like. But as I said, it's completely up to you. Now, we're going to go look at the middle tree. We're taking the plus 15% toughness boost here into Attention Seeker. Now, I touched on this before and explained why it's good, and I'm going to again, because I got shouted at last time for not talking about Attention Seeker enough. So, blocking or pushing enemies taunts them for 8 seconds. This is goddamn amazing. As you can see, the shield push, although it's not doing it in the Psychonarium, that is how you trigger it with that. Just a block push, or with ranged enemies, you literally just turtle up. Now, this is the only time we're going to be really using the shield as a shield. It is to lure ranged enemies into melee with us, so that we can bully them and kill them. What we're not going to be doing is just sitting in melee doing nothing. We are the driving force in the team. We are the one who kind of sets the pace and keeps everything off everyone else. So we're going to be swinging between heavy attacks, block pushes, and any time a ranged enemy is gunning the team down, we're going to get in the middle of it and we're going to block. What we're not going to do is use the special action buttons to do this, because now you're useless. You don't want to be using the special action button apart from very, very minor cases of you are having to hold a door during Auric Damnation for your team. But the events that you'll be using this are so slim, I'm not even going to go through them, because they are the outliers. It is a stupid ability. Please don't use it. I have watched teams wipe themselves because the Ogryn decides the best way to help the team is to stand there like this. I mean, I think there's a clip on the channel where I ask an Ogryn in a game if he could please stop doing that and actually help. And the minute he stops, he got himself killed, because all he knew how to do was this. So that's my rant over about the special action button. Please don't use it. So That's why Attention Seeker's great. Anyway, moving on into Get Stuck In. On activating your combat ability, you and your allies in Coherency gain plus 20% movement speed and are also immune to stun and suppression. This is just going to help the team to keep moving, and especially on, say, the Karnak twins hard mode fight, I found this to be absolutely amazing because you would trigger this as you're running from one side of the room through the gas to the other side. This was one way of getting there safely. And then Bruiser, 4% combat ability cooldown reduction when you or an ally in Coherency kill an elite enemy. You're going to find Indomitable is off cooldown a lot of the time because of this. Then into a toughness boost, then into Won't Give In, plus 20% damage reduction for each knockdown or incapacitated ally within 20 meters. So this is your clutch ability, basically. If everything goes wrong, you get tougher. Then into a health boost, and then into Feel No Pain. You are blessed with 10 stacks of Feel No Pain. Each stack grants 2.5% toughness replenishment and 2.5% damage reduction. Taking damage removes 1 stack. Stacks are restored every 3 seconds. Now this is just a massive, massive defensive boost for you. That's pretty much going to be up at all times if you can. But I mean, you will take damage, you will lose some of them, but it will stack back up again. Pained Outburst. When Feel No Pain reaches 0 stacks, you push enemies and replenish 20% toughness. Now, there is one reason I take this, and it is because Chaos Hounds suck. And if you ever get into a point where you are clutching on your own, or your team has wandered off, or you've wandered off, a Chaos Hound grabs you, this is going to just knock it off of you. But we are also going to be able to do that with the Rumbler. If you think you're about to get grabbed by something that you can get knocked out of, just drop a grenade at your feet. If you can't get a shot off on them, obviously. The grenades in this don't do a huge amount of stagger, but they do enough to give you a split second, which is sometimes all you need. And then into Toughest. Feel No Pain grants 2.5% toughness replenishment per stack. This is just going to help us stack up that toughness and just be a lot more resistant to being killed. I got sick of saying tough. But there you go. That is the slightly modified Slab Shield build. I do hope you guys enjoy it, and if you do, please do like and subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It really does help us out. And if you have any builds you would like to see that I haven't already done, please do put them down in the comment section. I will get to them as quickly as I can. So, that's all for today. Take it easy. I'll see you later.